Hey guys, welcome back. It is your favorite Gimp with a Limp, and I'm definitely here with something different for you today. I'm talking about some Kickstarters, but it's not in the usual manner I do it with the whole, hey, this one's worth checking out. Now, this one is worth checking out, obviously. I actually did back this. It's Upzone Pop-Up Terrain. And I'm going to show you this one first, and then we're going to talk about another one. And when I start showing it to you, you'll get real quick why. Now, this one's already completed, but it does look like they actually have a late pledge option available. So if you are looking for some terrain, stuff like that, it is available out there if you wanted to late pledge it. So let's just play a little bit of this video here. We're not going to play all of it, but I want you guys to see at least part of this. All right, so watch this little tidbit.
Have your full gaming area set up in seconds. Upzone is a new approach to gaming terrain.
Designed from the ground up to be compact, easy to set up and cost effective. Traditional boards and terrain can take a lot of room and also be time consuming to paint, build and set up. Upzone is a fully photoreal printed set of terrain that pops up from the modular boards.
Fully compatible with Warhammer 40,000, Dungeons and Dragons, Age of Sigmar and many other tabletop and role-playing games.
All right, so right there you see the basic gist of the Kickstarter of what they're doing there. It's the foldable terrain. It looked really awesome. I was like, okay, this is worth checking out. I want something to use with bolt action. I want something to use with core space. I want something to use with all my other games. 5 parsecs from home. I just did a video talking about that one. Unfortunately, I don't know if this is going to be in time to try with 5 parsecs from home, but hopefully it will. So they had their Kickstarter and they did well. They had a 50,000 goal. And they raised almost 600,000. They had 3,572 backers, me being one of them. I think I did the lowest level pledge because I didn't need all of them, just to show you some of their options, because they had different box sets. I looked more towards this one, the Cathedral Zone area, because I didn't want a dungeon, right? I didn't need a dungeon. And I wasn't really interested in a pyramid because I don't have that many like old-timey type stuff going on. But I figured the Cathedral Zone one could be used with more modern or World War II area like this. This is the one that I was looking at. Okay, so it's got buildings and some storage containers and rubble there in the center. I figured, okay, that will work for me for my purposes. I can use it in a wide variety of games. I'm good. Now they had where it was basically like pick 1, 2, or 3. So pick any 1 zone, pick any 2 zones, pick any or get all zones. And I think they included the Obsidian Zone free if you got this one. Yeah, so you did get some extras if you picked during Kickstarter. So if you got a second, and you're looking for some of these terrain pieces, and this interests you, yeah, definitely worth checking out. So the Cathedral Zone, the one that I was looking at, you get a couple of these, you get a couple of the mausoleums, you get a couple of ruins, get a couple of containers, and then you get the free exclusive Obsidian Zone one. I think there might have been some other things included. Let's see, Ancient Zone. Oh, pick between those, and then you got the free Obsidian one. So cool stuff. All right, great. All excited about that. That's the basics of the Kickstarter. Now, this company did what so many companies do, and I've had companies do this with me. They'll send prototype copies out. Now, these companies pay for these prototype copies, and they're expensive, right? I've got a prototype copy of a game on my desk right now that I'm getting ready to cover. Actually, I'd be filming it right now if it wasn't for the fact that this popped up into my purview and I was like, yeah, I got to cover this. So when you send that out, you're sending it out to reviewers so they can cover it and help get you some exposure. Now, there's a little benefit to it. Generally speaking, when you get a review copy of something, the way it's understood is they're sending you a portion of it. It's usually not the complete thing. It's not the perfect components, but you get your hands on it early. You can play with it a little bit. If it's a game, you get to play it early. And then once it does complete, go to production, whatever, usually they do send you a finalized copy to review, to touch on as well. So it works out for you. You get a little publicity as the reviewer. You know, me, when I cover prototype games, I get a little publicity because I'm covering it before the general public's able to do it. And they get the free marketing. So it's a win-win situation. When it's not a win-win situation is when you have this happen. This is Titan's Terrain. This is something that's kind of throwing me for a loop, and I'm going to let you guys watch the video here. And Tabletop Titans was one of the groups that got sent a prototype version of Upzone. All right. So this, when did they do the Kickstarter? They're doing it December 17th, roughly 30 days. So it's probably like November 17th or so they launched it. So like 3 days ago or so, roughly, they launched it. And Upzone, just so we know, was funded. When did it fund? Damn. I have to see when the hell this thing funded, because it already funded. Where's the time? It was over a year ago it funded. I know there's an exact date on here somewhere. I'll see if I can find it later. But this already funded. It completed a while back. So these people got the prototype version of it, kind of like I didn't get a prototype of Upzone, right? I backed Upzone. But in the vein of that, they got a prototype of that. So let's watch their video.
In this box is an instant epic wargaming battlefield. 12 pop-up tiles allow you to create a custom battlefield in seconds. Introducing Titan's Terrain, an ancient battlefield in a box. This detailed setting is perfect for your games of Warhammer 40,000. It allows you to create thousands of unique layouts for dynamic and balanced games. And when you're done, Titan's Terrain packs up in seconds and stores away easily. Created by the team at Tabletop Titans, we love epic tabletop games and set out to create the ultimate battlefield. Many players we know don't own any terrain, and what they have is often unpainted, hard to store, and costs a lot. We designed Titan's Terrain to solve all these challenges within wargaming. It's ready out of the box, no painting or assembly. It's super easy to store and transport. It's designed to create balanced and dynamic games, and it's beautifully detailed. Set it up and take it down in seconds, and spend more time playing. Most of all, it's the most affordable way to get a table of terrain. Even if you're like us and already have lots of terrain, it's the best way to add a new set to your collection, and the only terrain set that's easy to transport and quick to set up. Titan's Terrain, the affordable way to create an epic battlefield.
Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of similarities there, isn't there? And let's scroll down and see what their pledge levels are. Right at the same thing, about $100. Actually, Upzone was cheaper, 160. So their core pledge plus expansion, and then $250 for the all-in. So they're in the ballpark, and 3,000 package. Upzone definitely didn't have that. But yeah, it's really sketchy when these people were sent a review copy of this almost exact thing, and now some time has gone on and they're releasing a competing product. And where's the little bonus? Because there was something that I mean, look at this. 2 times this, 2 times this, 2 times Capitol building, 2 times this, 2 times this. They it's almost verbatim. And there was one, I saw it earlier and I can't find it now. Their little bonus thing. Yeah, Cathedral Square. All right, Cathedral Square. And let's see, where was it here? The Cathedral Zone. Wow, that is just, wow, so much of a coincidence there that there's so much that just seems to be lining up. Now, to be fair, they've already completed this. They've already hit their backing level. Because originally I saw this and I was like, is it different enough? Would I need this? And in my starting to dig into it, that's when I found out about the fact that there was a little bit of crossover. Now, they have a update about this. the Tabletop Titans and Upzone. So let's read what their update is. Said, we've been seeing a lot of questions about our terrain and Upzone. We want to address them as there seems to be some mix-ups. Upzone did contact them about previewing them, their product, and they agreed to do that. We decided to support their product because we thought it was cool and we wanted to see it succeed. That's it. Okay, right there, I can agree with everything. We had decided to make our own branded terrain around 2 years ago and looked at many ideas. We were inspired by some old D&D pop-up terrain to explore making our own pop-ups. We tried and created simple prototypes prior to the launch of Upzone. Okay. You got any proof of that? Because right now things don't look good for you. Titan's terrain was done as a hobby side project for fun. We worked on it slowly, and we were not very serious about it or sure we would launch it until very recently. At the time we previewed Upzone, it seemed like a long shot that we would decide to make and sell, I'm guessing what they were going for, our own terrain. This is why we didn't make a big deal about disclosing, that's a key word right there, that we had explored this concept. There was no ill will, intent, or desire to compete. We only wanted to help promote Upzone. Now, I could believe that if... we'll come back to that. We previewed Upzone once during a live battle report. We said how much we liked it and that people should back it. We then put it on the shelf and didn't think about it again. Our own explorations and pop-ups were different, and we didn't feel compelled to take any ideas from Upzone during our explorations. Remember, this was a creative art project for us, not a plan to take another team's ideas. When we decided we might want to make this for real, we hired contractors who were experts at paper engineering and digital art to make the final product. Well, I mean, you're going to have to do that regardless. Neither of these people had ever seen or heard of Upzone, and their product did not factor at all into our final design. Well, that doesn't mean that you can't have given them a starting point based off of Upzone's design. Just because the people that finalized what you gave them doesn't mean what you gave them wasn't based off someone else's creative ideas. It has been pointed out that the name of our expansion pack and the title of Upzone's terrain both have the word cathedral in it. It was not our intention to have a similar name. We simply didn't notice the similarity until someone told us after a launch. Again, we were not looking at Upzone at all during our process, so it wasn't something we would have seen. We would have happily picked another name had we known. That one I kind of believe is a mix-up, a screw-up, in the fact that they weren't paying enough attention when they were naming things. I don't think they deliberately took the name like cathedral, right? I don't think they deliberately did that. I think that's just what they decided to name it, and weren't paying attention to the fact that their source material already had that word in there, and it was just going to look even worse for them. We think pop-up terrain is the future of wargaming, and we wanted to have fun creating something that we would want to use. We love Upzone and are sure they will continue to succeed. We also have our own ideas and hope people like those too. We expect to see other teams make their own pop-up ideas, and we welcome those. Our product is in no way based off of or improved by Upzone when we promoted their product. Now, I forget where I've read it. I don't think it was on Upzone's Kickstarter, because I don't think I've seen it in the updates. It might have been on their Facebook page. Oh wait, here it is. I just found it. We wanted to post an update about a recent Kickstarter project, Titan Terrain, and some of the comments we've been receiving about it. We are in no way affiliated with TT or their product. We are not working on their terrain or publishing their terrain. TT were one of the very small handful of content creators we contacted, and they expressed excitement, interest in Upzone, and requested we send them a sample prototype copy. We then mailed them an early reviewer sample copy of our Cathedral Zone last year while we were running our campaign for Upzone. And since we never received our prototype back and never heard anything back from the tabletop team, We really appreciate the exposure that the amazing content creators that did review our product gave us, as it helped our campaign out a great deal. We're a small indie company who work very hard to spread the word about our products, so all help is very appreciated. However, it is surprising and extremely upsetting to the Everything Epic team and Upzone's designer to see such a similar project released from a group of people in the world that we trusted with one of our prototypes, giving them access to a very early copy of the product that we designed, developed, play tested, and promoted with our blood, sweat, and tears for a very long time. We expected to see some competing products released after the success of our Kickstarter for Upzone Pop-Up Terrain, and we welcome it. However, we are shocked and very disappointed that Tabletop Titans have chosen to emulate our product so closely, even name conventions such as their expansion Cathedral Square, which is extremely similar to our Cathedral Zone, all the while having access to an actual copy of our product before release. While it is impossible to know whether they did start work on their product before our Kickstarter, they most certainly should have disclosed they were working on a very similar product before agreeing to review and promote our product, Upzone, and accept one of our very few costly sample prototype copies, which we overnighted them during our Kickstarter campaign. And I've had that happen before, where someone has sent me something with costly shipping because they wanted to get it to me in time for me to learn it, use it, film it, edit it, and get it up. It takes time. It's not instant. So paying more to get it shipped quick just adds to the cost. And especially when you're doing a Kickstarter, you're funding this. You're doing all this out of your pocket until that Kickstarter, completes. So every dollar counts. And to have someone do that, that's shady. Once again, we, the Everything Epic team, thank each and every one of you for your support and look forward to getting the Upzone pop-up terrain system into your hands as soon as possible. So they've addressed it, and it's pretty well obvious they're pissed. And you know what? If I were them, I would be pissed too. Because I'm sorry, I just don't buy this. I don't buy the 2 years ago. And now they might have talked about it. Hey, we should come up with our own whatever. We should come up with our own terrain. Our name's getting up there. Maybe we should have some products that we sell to bring in a little extra money, whatever. Here's the thing. When they decided that they would accept a prototype copy of something, the review copy, disclosing anything that they were doing, there's just no excuse for that. That is why we didn't make a big deal about disclosing that we explored the concept. Right now, we can only go off of what we see, and since even their promotional video for the Kickstarter is so close to Upzone's, it seems like they really did act in a shady manner when it came to their product, right? We can only go off the evidence that we see, and everything that we see from the naming, from the products themselves. They're even saying the same words in the video. You can use it with Warhammer 40,000, blah, blah, blah. Right there, first thing that they're talking about, showing all the miniatures across the terrain. And it's like, come on, what are you doing? Did you think a year was going to be enough? Upzone hasn't even delivered yet. They're a couple months away from delivery at this point. It would have only been worse if they had waited, if they had done it sooner, it would have been worse. Or it might have been better in a way. If they had released their Kickstarter a month later, then they could have said something to the effect of, we were already in the process. But even still, there's no reason you don't disclose to someone, hey, I'm already working on this. If a game designer contacted me and said, hey, I'm doing a game about dumbass YouTube reviewers who make videos about, solitaire wargaming. And what do you know? Gimpy's making the same thing. And then he offers me a prototype copy of it. Hey, you want to cover this? And I'm like, yeah, I'll cover it. And then I release my own version of it. I'd look like a friggin' moron. Everything about this just stinks. Now, if I have to look at it objectively, there is no evidence that I've seen currently that disproves their claims to this, the fact that they were working on it ahead of time, right? Nothing that shows that they couldn't have already been in the process and a competitor contacted them without knowing that they were already working on it and decided, okay, we'll accept that competitor's product to see if there's anything we can learn about it or if it's a threat or, whatever. And who's to say that they got the competitor's product, realized the competitor's product was better, and delayed their Kickstarter so they could tweak theirs to be better than it was at the time so they could better compete. It just doesn't look good. I mean, even the layout. Look at this right here. And then let's scroll down, right? Oh, I'm in the wrong tab. Let's go down here. Where is it? Right about here. I mean, come on. There's this. And then there's this. I mean, even the layout of the damn Kickstarter, man, you didn't even do that yourselves. A lot of the comments are what you would expect. People commenting to say that, they don't think others should back this project due to the whole Upzone thing. And normally I don't support the cancel culture idea. I think people should be free to make their own choices. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm letting people know the deal behind the situation. Because truth be told, I was really thinking about backing this one too, just to double up. And I like the idea of foldable terrain. And I could have a couple of different types, easy to put into a box, put on the shelf. And I could bring it out, however many pieces I needed to film a game or whatever I was working on. But after seeing this and how many similarities between the Kickstarter, between the product, between the names, between everything, and the fact that they were kind of shady in how they're talking about it. Oh, well, we were doing this before and we just didn't think we needed to disclose. Bullshit. Sorry. No, there's no reason. Now, had they disclosed to Upzone and told them, hey, we're kind of working on some terrain ourselves. We're happy to review yours, more than happy to do it, but we're working on something ourselves that could be similar. Are you okay with that? And Upzone came out now saying, yeah, they had told us they were working on stuff too back at the time. We were cool with it and we still sent them a review copy. All right, everything would be different. There would be no problem. Well, there'd be some problems. I mean, you're still copying their damn video, their Kickstarter layout, their names. You went a little far with it, buddy. You just copy the product alone. Don't copy everything else. It makes you look that much worse. Yeah, so this is my way of just kind of letting people know what's going on. And this, it put a bad taste in my mouth. And because of that, I'm not going to back Titan's Terrain. If it wasn't for that, I would probably back it just because I like the look of it. Like I said, I'd like to have a little bit extra. And if you want to back it, you're more than welcome to. You're free to make your own choices. I'm not saying anything about them as people. They're bad. It couldn't be proved in a court of law, right? If this were a murder trial, you'd have to acquit because there's not enough evidence beyond a reasonable shadow of a doubt that they didn't act in a malicious manner, right? They might have acted in an extremely ignorant manner by not doing what they should have done, but we don't have direct proof of malice on their part. And because of that, you kind of got to make your choices based off on it. I would have liked to have seen something, maybe them to reach out to Upzone beforehand, maybe after they got the prototype, offer to send the prototype back. I think that was a key thing, Upzone mentioning the fact that they kept the prototype, which is fine because for the most part, unless the designer asks for the prototype back, sometimes they only get a few and they have to pass them around from all the different reviewers, which is fine because they'll cover the shipping costs to get things moved around. I have no problem doing that. But if they had offered to send it back, like, hey, this is similar to something we're working on, can we send this back to you so there's no hard feelings or something along those lines? There was multiple steps here where they could have taken action to prevent ill will from Upzone and the Everything Epic team, and they failed at every one of them. And because of that, yeah, I can't support their Kickstarter. And I hate to say that because it doesn't look bad. And anything that expands the wargaming hobby, I'm good with. You can't patent certain things. I get that. There's, like, you can't patent game design, right? You can't patent rolling 2d6 or hexes or counters or any of that type stuff. You can't patent it. So just because you come up with certain ideas, some of them can't be patented. Now, I think this probably could be patented. The board that pops up with different terrain, I'm not 100% sure on that. I would think that concept would be able to be patented. Maybe it was patented way back in the day from like storybooks or something like that, and the patents ran out, so now it's open source. That could be what's going on with this. So regardless of how it was handled, the Tabletop Titan team really just they let it down. They dropped the ball pretty serious here, and I think it's cost them some ill will. And you can tell, especially because the number of backers is significantly lower than Upzone. Now, generally speaking, when it comes to a Kickstarter, you get most of your backers within the first couple of days. That's where you're going to get your bread and butter. And then the last couple of days are the ones that come in right there at the end. So unless they have about 2,500 more backers come in their last 2 days, I think that difference in the number that we're seeing is the ill will. And some of these backers are the ones that have only put in $1 just so they can comment about being upset with the Kickstarter and how they handled the whole situation. See this one, like I was showing it earlier, thinking people that they shouldn't back it because of it. See if there's any more. Yeah. No, they're talking about shooting lanes, which that's going to be a problem with both. Yeah, create massive kill lanes. You need scatter terrain. Yeah, this one's talking about Upzone as well. And yeah, Upzone looked very cool, and this does too. Even that said, even though I believe everything in your post, I'm now genuinely concerned about the future of this product or project. I've watched your content regularly, know this isn't a scam, and don't believe you ripped off any ideas, but there's a lot of negativity around here, so I'm dropped my funding down to $1. So I'm wondering how many people are backing at $1. And that's what I'm saying. It is entirely possible, wholeheartedly possible, that these people did not have ill intentions in their actions, but they just could have been incredibly stupid in how they handled it and ignorant about how it was going to look to everyone else when this project was launched and people started comparing it like, wow, it's almost a direct copy of a prototype copy you were sent. That looks kind of bad, guys. What do you have to say? Oh, we were making it first. We just hadn't shown anybody or had any prototypes or anything like that. But we promised we were making it first. And we just didn't tell anyone or disclose it to our potential competitors who sent us their product. Yeah, sorry guys, that looks bad. It looks bad. All right, but you guys let me know down in the comments what you think, whether or not you're going to back Titan Terrains, whether or not you backed Upzone, and if you're in the market, you like what you see on either one of these. Titan Terrains is still, like I said, going, and Upzone has theirs as a late backing. You can late pledge right here on the Kickstarter page. So definitely go and check that out. And just a FYI, you would probably get this quicker even as a late pledge. You might get yours at the end, but the late pledge, they're going to be fulfilling, should be first quarter next year. So you're looking at January, February, March, April, probably at the latest on fulfillment for Upzone. So works in their favor. I'm kind of leaning towards Upzone. All right, you guys take care. I'll see you in the next one.